I got so many fake friends. Oh my god, I hate them. I spray them with my ray gun and take one vacation. I got so many fake friends. Oh my god, I hate them. I spray them with my ray gun and take one vacation. Escape them.
Now that you've kind of come with the Nigeria angle, now that we've introduced the Nigeria angle, first of all, not just a matter of is it Nigerians on both the demand and supply side in terms of the entrepreneurs who are giving the expertise and the entrepreneurs who are receiving it. But also the thing I wanted to ask is like, we're all Nigerians here. We all know Nigeria, like in one sense, but I'm sure you know Nigeria in a different sense in terms of the entrepreneurial environment of Nigeria, Gongo. Once you actually start working with entrepreneurs now. So is there anything unique to the Nigerian entrepreneurial sector that you've noticed by virtue of becoming co-founders of On the Side?
Okay, well, I guess so. To answer your first question about demand and supply side, I think it's mainly just the supply side for now, because just with the nature of On the Side, it's going to be a lot of the proportion of entrepreneurs to obviously I is what we call them subscribers is going to be maybe like one to like at the end of the day, rather the entrepreneurs are always going to be a lot less than the people that are subscribing, right? So in terms of the supply side, yes, it's just mainly supply side for like for Nigerian entrepreneurs and all that. And then secondly, when it comes to Nigerian entrepreneurial landscape, first things first, like Fiyin said, we're very entrepreneurial. And I think one thing that's really driven us to be entrepreneurial is just the fact that, to be very honest, it's like, God, you have to, it's like one of those things that you have to find your own way kind of thing. You feel me? Like, so everybody's literally just, and I feel like that's what makes this proposition so unique in the sense that like everybody's literally trying to just make it that's like anything that they can in it, like any kind of valuable thing that they can get, like just give it to me kind of thing. You feel me? Especially if it's somebody that's equally reputable, giving you those kind of insights, right? If you can have access to somebody like that's reputable like that, So I think it's just the hunger of Nigerians in the entrepreneurial landscape that's really going to, accelerate stuff like that. I'm saying hunger. I don't know. I'm laughing, but yeah, you just know how Nigerians are. And then secondly, the fact that in the entrepreneurial landscape in Nigeria itself, you know how a lot of people say that Africa is like they say this generally, but it's like, oh, Africa is like this economy that is like, you get what I mean, like the next China kind of thing, like, oh, a lot is coming out of Africa and everything. And the truth is that is true, because especially when it comes to Nigeria, the sector, like Nigeria in general, it is actually quite underdeveloped. Let's just be honest, right? There are a lot of sectors that are picking up, and there are a lot of sectors, like for example, you look at logistics, if you look at things like food processing, manufacturing, all kind of things, like the sectors are not that developed. So now is a period where people are really getting into those sectors, and there's so much growth and there's so much potential in those sectors, right? Because you cannot do the same thing in Europe. Like it's actually impossible. Everything is so overdeveloped already. So I think those are two reasons and two things I've seen in the Nigerian entrepreneurial landscape that really like get me excited, really picking up at the moment. So yeah, that's what I think. Fiyin, do you have any?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try and answer. I think my answer is gonna kind of link your two questions. So where do I start from? I think being an entrepreneur in Nigeria is not easy. And I say that because, interacting with people that are trying to set up businesses, watching documentaries of people who have actually managed to establish businesses, and, having those discussions, one thing that you realize is, whereas here, like, the resources that you can get to a bit easier, it's like every step of the way, there's one hurdle or the other, not sometimes intentionally, but sometimes unintentionally. Sometimes it's, the lack of infrastructure that is that hurdle. But other times it's actual human beings that have just actually decided that, you know what, today I'm going to make your life a lot more difficult. Um, basically, because everybody has to eat their own share of national cake, right?
But
So I'm trying not to be political because I don't do politics. But I say that to say this. I think it is important that the experienced entrepreneurs that are sharing their experience and what they have gone through are able to relate to the people that are asking them the questions. And the best way for that to happen is for both people to be trying to, or both people to be in the same environment, to have gone through the same things. You cannot, I'm sorry, but I think that there's certain things that we can learn from people who, are entrepreneurs in more experienced, more grown economies. But there's certain intricacies to the Nigerian market and the Nigerian consumer that you can only learn from an entrepreneur that has been through it in the Nigerian market and has tried to sell to a Nigerian consumer. Because I think it is a completely different dynamic. There will be some similarities here and there, but it's definitely not the same. Um, so I guess that's kind of on the side of I keep saying on the side, but yeah, that's kind of, when you're talking about demand and supply and are we trying to target Nigeria or both sides? I wouldn't say we're trying to target them, but I think what we want to make sure is that people are learning from people who actually have been through what it is that they're currently experiencing, because otherwise it kind of defeats the point a little bit. So yes, you can learn interesting, cool things from people from other nations and, see how they're doing it in other places and see how you can implement it in Nigeria. But I think to an extent, you also need Nigerians to show Nigerians that actually it is possible in this economy, in this environment. I have been able to do this, and this is how you can do it too. Yeah, I think that's all I'll add.
yeah, yeah, 100%. I sorry, just to even say one thing, just support what Fiyin was saying. Even just an example. For example, literally M-Pesa in Kenya, they tried to do it in Nigeria. It did not work because Nigeria is just very different. Like you can't just copy and paste, oh, this
Yeah,
AI thing is working in the UK, so let's try and it's not going to
yeah,
work. You actually
yeah,
have to find somebody that, yeah, it's only somebody, isn't only a Nigerian that can really understand the Nigerian market and really make something work. And you just have to tailor it according to the people of Nigeria. It's not just some
100%.
one size fits all kind of thing. So yeah, just what I wanted to add.
Yeah, because when people think of, and I'm glad you said that because it actually segues into a question that I was going to ask, but may even be redundant right now. But before I even get into that, the thing that was in the back of my mind this entire time when you were talking about the specific context, and this is a broadly African thing, but it's different degrees depending on when you go. It was just
Mhm.
informal sector, informal sector, informal sector. When you're talking about guys coming from university, not even waiting before there's a job opportunity, they have to hustle to get one, like you're doing this and
Mhm.
that,
Mm-hmm.
etc. You know what I mean? It's not a registered company, office, etc.
Yeah.
That I think the stat was something along the lines of like out of the active workforce, like the majority, something crazy like 80% or something. I really wish I remembered it because I read the statistic again today, are based in the informal sector. But if there's
Mm-hmm.
even any like, because I'm so sure you covered it, but let me ask you just again in case there's anything that's not at the forefront of your mind. Skip it if you want to, by the way. But just anything you want to add about like it could be something small, the uniqueness, the importance of the subscriber being able to relate to the entrepreneur.
I think it's mostly covered, but I think for me, the only thing I'll add is we tend as human beings, God, I can't remember the theory, But basically, as human beings, we tend to favor people that are similar to us, or we tend to feel more comfortable with people that are similar to us. Um, and so thinking about that as well from the point of view of I'm a young entrepreneur, or I'm an older entrepreneur, but I'm just starting out, and I'm starting out in Nigeria. I don't know who to talk to. Little things like, okay, I want to register my business, how do I go about registering my business? How much will it cost me? Who do I need to speak to? Like little things like that. If somebody has not registered a business in Nigeria, you might think, oh, it's super, because in the UK, it's relatively straightforward. You go online, you can do it very quickly. Like there are companies that will even help you set up. It doesn't take a lot of time, to be very honest. It's not exactly the same in Nigeria. I can tell you that because I've done company registration in both countries. It is definitely more difficult to do in Nigeria. Not because they try to make it more difficult intentionally, but just because there's certain like we're not at the stage where the UK and the US are when it comes to the entrepreneurial landscape and the infrastructure to support entrepreneurs. And so there will be little, like, what's the word? Intricacies and little like things here and there that is unique to the Nigerian market and is unique to setting up a business in Nigeria that will just make your life that much easier, that somebody that is not in the Nigerian market might not know about. And so it is very important that the people that are going through this struggle of starting up a business, because irrespective of where you start your business, it is a struggle. Let's not pretend that it's all roses and flowers and rainbows. It's not. So if you are able to see somebody that started from where you started from or somewhere similar, then there's a bit more hope. It's easier to be like, okay, if this person could do it and they were here, then I can do it as well, I can do it too. It's not like, okay, but this person is in the UK. Look, they're able to access this, they're able to access that. Where am I supposed to find that in Nigeria? I can't. So I think it's just little things like that. So I think relatability is very, very important. Very important.
Yeah, 100%. To be fair, nothing to add. I completely agree with that. You have to be able to relate with. Yeah, 100%, 100%. Yeah.
All right, thanks, guys. Now, final question to close us off. We said go big or go home, so we're going home big.
Okay.
Now, I'm trying to be interesting. So you talked about in various videos on LinkedIn, etc., that there's certain aspects of entrepreneurship that are almost shrouded in mystery, right? Behind closed doors. Those things are almost secrets before they come to light. But without going too specifically into one sector or the other, there's probably things you've learned from this process, not even just now, but not even as on the side co-founders, but just as people involved in entrepreneurship from whenever. So what are the most revealing things that you've learned about entrepreneurship that you feel need to be shared and taught?
I think while Ibuka is thinking, I'm just going to go with the most basic thing that comes to my mind immediately. And I think it applies in everything, not just entrepreneurship, but it's specifically this social media culture. I think people tend to, and it's not a bad thing, don't get me wrong, but people tend to only, show the good side. I've hit a milestone. Oh my God, we got our first shop. Oh my God, look, our first 100 customers. Oh, we've made a profit. They don't show you all the hustle and the struggle and the days that, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to, like, you don't see, it's very rare for people to be open and honest about the different struggles that they go through when setting up their business. It's very rare for you to see somebody come and say, right, we made a loss today. And it wasn't just like we don't know how we're moving forward. We might have to shut down. Or, come forward and say, man, this particular product that we thought was going to sell, it's looking like our marketing was completely wrong. We need to restructure it. Nobody shows you the not so nice side. I was listening to someone and they were talking about like having to go. Okay, so let's take for example, you're setting up a physical store, physical like activity area. I have a friend who's trying to do that in Lagos. And they spoke to somebody, they agreed land price, they were going to pay for the land. Okay, time to pay for the land now. Half of the land has suddenly been sold to somebody else. And so they now no longer have the full land. It's like nobody's going to come online and tell you, oh my gosh, you won't believe what happened to me today. I was trying to buy land for my business and all of a sudden I only have half of the land remaining. Nobody's going to come online and tell you that. Then you're going to come online and be like, oh my gosh, guys, we finally secured our land. And this is not like a personal, this person does this. This is what we see online because social media has made it so difficult to share the realities of what is going on. So I think for me, that is it. That's the main thing. That's all that I will say. I'll leave the rest to Chiebuka.
Nah. See, this is why Fiyin is my co-founder, bro. Like literally, that's actually it. So I don't even know what I was thinking. This is actually it. That's all. That's actually it. Like, oh my gosh. I think to be fair, I think the thing that pains me the most is that's one of the reasons why people don't start businesses and they don't start anything. Don't even forget business. They don't start anything because it's like, oh, but look at this person. The first thing you open when you open LinkedIn is you see some guys, I just like Fiyin was saying, oh, I just secured some 100 million, whatever funding. I was watching on one of the I really like watching Y Combinator videos. And one thing that so for anybody that doesn't know, Y Combinator like one of the best startup incubators in the world and everything. And one of the things that one of the partners was saying is when you look at things like TechCrunch and you see all these companies that have, this person secured 3 million seed round or whatever. The only reason why you see those things is you don't see the 10,000 that somebody else has secured because nobody talks about it. Nobody cares about it actually. There's the thing that the news wants to show you is the 100 million so now you as somebody that maybe you're trying to raise some money or you're trying to start something, you look at that thing and think, what? How can I even raise how can I, and you look at the 1,000, 2,000 I have and you're thinking, man, the way it is, I'm never going to get to that. So I might as well just stop now. So that's the thing that social media tends to do, which is 100% true. And it's for most part, it can be very negative. It really hits people's self-esteem. And yeah, I think that's one thing that we really wanted to, tackle with on this side, just to show people that like the journey is not easy, but this is how we start. This is how we get to like from A to Z or whatever. You feel me? So yeah, I completely agree with you. I don't even know what I was thinking. That's it. That's all. That's actually all.
Thank you so much. I guess the takeaway from that answer would be like you literally have to start somewhere, but starting becomes more approachable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
When like when I guess it's weird to say, but like the failure makes the starting more approachable because when you look at like a huge success, it's like, how can I make that possible? But when you look at like, oh, okay, X, Y, and Z has happened, and that could have happened to me, anybody. But I guess he made it possible, so I can take these hits. Because some of these people probably have already taken hits just in life,
yeah,
even entrepreneurship.
100%.
But yeah,
100%.
that is that is like that's the final takeaway. That's the final thought, the big impactful closer for any future entrepreneur or prospective entrepreneur watching this. And on that note, Fiyin, Chiebuka, thank you very much for your time. Anybody who's watching this, thank you for your time. Really grateful for your insights, for what you're doing in and of itself, for the entrepreneurial sector. I mean, especially in Nigeria, in this our continent of Africa, regardless of where it goes, we can see that it started in the motherland, in the homeland. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for watching. I've been your host, Gregory Emeka Elukwe. Goodbye. Signing out.
I got so many fake friends. Oh my God, I hate them. I spray them with my ray gun, then take one vacation, escape them. Been A1 since day one, so don't waste your hate on me. Can't take the weight from me. Focus on pay, homie. Real niggas, they know me. Respect my vibration. Vamos from the